We have seen the success of Napoleon in the last video. Now we are going to see the failure and impact of Napoleon. So the failure of Napoleon, even though there are 7 to 8 success, he has done so many positive things, but failures, because of 2 to 3 failures or negatives, his positive becomes turned out into negative. The love of people towards him became turned into the hatred. Okay, so likewise, now success part we have over. Now we are going to deal with the negatives or the failure parts. So in all, first thing is that he increased the income tax. Okay, as we have seen that already people were suffering because of the tax system. The third state people, they were already suffering, but when Napoleon came back, he again increased the taxes. So again a big pressure, financial pressure on the third state people. So likewise, whatever good means right to property and equality before law, whatever he has introduced through his Napoleonic code, that was not too much, means people were not too much happy because of the failures, because of the negatives. So first thing, he increased the tax. Second thing is, even though he has removed the guild restriction, we have seen in the positives, but here the second point is that censorship he increased. So even though one side you are giving the liberty, but at another side you are putting means restrictions on the media, censorship you are increasing, then what does that liberty means? So likewise, the second point is that he increased the restrictions or media or the censorship. Then the third most important thing, this is very important, because as it was the aim of Napoleon to conquer the whole world, okay, to increase his territory in Europe. So he was continuously involved in war, and when an army is involved in war, it requires soldiers. The strength of the army at that time was on the number of soldiers in the army. So Napoleon make it compulsory, it was compulsion for all, that enrollment into the French army from each family. At least one member must be there in the French army. Okay, so forced enrollment into the army, this was the third point in his among his failures. So the 3 points quickly we will see. The first one is increase the taxes, second one is the censorship, and the third one is forced enrollment into the military. So with these 3 points, whatever positives, whatever good things he has done, all this turned into the not good. Okay, so likewise, the people, those who were initially loving him, now they start hating him. And the fourth thing is, as I told you, when Napoleon crowned himself, he became the king. So when he became the king, automatically the democracy ended up and monarchy came back. So you can write it as the fourth point, that the democracy ended up with the coming back of Napoleon. So this all are the failures of Napoleon. Now in your book you can see the figure. Okay, so here you can see this picture, and here also you can see the picture. Okay, so here in this picture, figure 4, it is written the painting of tree of liberty. The tree of liberty, that means when Napoleon came, he brought so many things positive, like the Napoleonic code. So people in the other region, they were happy because of this Napoleon code. They welcome the Napoleon and his French army to come into their place. Okay, because they want that liberty in their territory also. So initially Napoleon was welcomed into the nearby area, but later on, when they see the negatives of the Napoleon, the failures of Napoleon, all this happiness turned into sorrow. Now the figure 5, if you will see, the courier of Finland loses all that he has on his way home from Leipzig. Okay, here you can see that the letters are falling down from his bag and Napoleon is walking. So what this figure represent? This represent that initially whatever space he has made in the hearts of the nearby people, later on gradually it got reduced. Why? Because of the negatives, the failures of the Napoleon. People doesn't now see, if in any family, nobody wants that if they are having single son, their son will get enrolled into the army. Okay, at that time the army job was not too much safe. So likewise, the whatever good they have initially thought, that happiness turned into sorrow. So this was the failure of Napoleon. So the impact of Napoleon, now the last point is the impact of Napoleon. So this is that initially Napoleon and his army, they were welcomed as the harbingers of liberty. Harbingers of liberty, that means that these people will bring liberty for us. But very soon, this happiness or this liberty, this welcoming of the French people, French army, that converted into the hostility. Why? Because if a person, as you can see the background of Napoleon, he belongs to the army. Okay, so from army he crowned himself as the emperor. Now when he captured the nearby area, that means that territory is now the part of French army. Now when, if the territory is the part of French army, who will be having administrative power? The head of the army. Who was the head of the army? Napoleon was head of the army. That is why when he conquered the nearby territories, nearby area, that administrative power, that goes into the hand of Napoleon. So the political freedom of that particular area people, that got ended up. Likewise, initially he was welcome, but when people realized that their political freedom, that is now losing, they are not politically free, their administrative system is under the control of a dictator of France. Likewise, that happiness turned into the sorrow. So with this we have completed the first section. Now in another video we will be dealing up with the next topic. Thank you.